Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tina, for joining me today. I think it's very important that we all kind of just do our own little piece of trying to make things better during this time of crisis with this pandemic. So glad you could join me today.
Thank you, Lachelle. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to get started with you just telling us a little bit about you and before we get into our topic.
Great. So I have been in my business since 2012. I'm a speaker, a coach, and a trainer. And my focus is really the corporate women that are in a 9-to-5 job and they want to exit. They want to escape that unfulfilling, unrewarding job that they have and really want to get clarity on their next steps. They have no direction. And so I help them to get clarity and focus with that so that they can really live their passion and create income, making money, loving what they do, but it's really living their purpose.
I love that. And so, now with it being the situation where a lot of industries are disrupted, women are at home, possibly doing a little bit of this corporate job, what advice would you give them now that they are in a home setting? If this is something that they want to try to take a leap at, with having their own business?
Yeah, so it's really about tapping into their why, identifying what is it that they want to do, what excites them, what hobbies have they been doing that perhaps they want to make a business out of it, really looking at their strengths. What are they good at? And who do they want to be around? What are the types of people they want to be around? And really identifying that why is so important. So really making a list of things they like to do, every day, that if they could do it without making money, they would do it even if they weren't getting paid. Okay. However, we all, of course, need to get paid for what we do. So, but that they would do it with no money. So really tapping into to their feelings around this, like what would they do every day that really excites them?
Now, that is so good because I know for a lot of people who, kind of have these thoughts in the back of their head, this is something that they aspire to do. And, it takes somewhat of a different mindset, to do that. I mean, we all have our goals and aspirations, but there's some pivot that has to be made for that mindset to shift to take that leap. So what was it, or maybe you could share something in your own experience or some advice that you could give them to kind of help them make that shift?
Great question. Yes, when I got laid off, because I was laid off, and I help women who are in transition, who got laid off or who want to reinvent themselves. They've done a career for so many years and now they want something else. That was me. I was, laid off from a corporate job in training and development, and I really needed clarity to figure what I wanted to do. And although I like training and development, I wanted to do it on a full time, being independent. I wanted flexibility. So it's really, I advise people to tap into what are their values. For me, one of my biggest value is flexibility, freedom. And this is why I really help people to achieve that freedom by, living their purpose. How do they achieve freedom every day? And so my advice is that really come from an open-minded mindset. Look for possibility, look for solutions. And instead of making excuses for yourself, like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not going to make money doing that. I'm too old to make changes. That's a lot of things that are going on in people's mindset today is, I'm too old to make this change right now. And I'm not going to make money doing this that I love to do. Okay. And I'm not suggesting for those of you that are listening to quit your job tomorrow and follow your passion. It took me 6 years to do my business part-time while working full-time. And so it's having a plan. It's what activity are you doing every day? What is your beliefs in yourself? Do you believe you can do it? How determined are you? I also say that how much pain are you in before you will make a change? And getting comfortable with uncomfortable, because we're comfortable in our jobs. And that was me. I was comfortable. I was making good money. But I got laid off. And then what I did was I went back to a corporate job. And for the past 11 years, I was in a talent acquisition position. And it was out of fear that held me back. And I finally in 2018 took that leap. I just jumped into full-time entrepreneurship because I wanted to help other women that they can do it, but it begins with your mindset, that fear that we have that holds us back. So, really looking at the potential, visualizing what would it look like if you were living your purpose, really create a vision for yourself. How does it look like? How does it feel like if you were doing that every day?
I love that. Now, so what kind of things did you have to do in order to kind of make this a reality? Did you have the same friends? Did you have the same routines? What were some of the things that you had to change that helped kind of facilitate that reality of your business and walking away and overcoming?
Yes. So what I did was I worked with coaches. I had mentors. I did a lot of self-help reading. I really, watched a lot of videos on mindset. I bought a book. There's a book that I recommend by Carol Dweck. And she has a book called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. And I recommend that book because she talks about two types of mindset, growth and fixed. And so when we have a fixed mindset, just like the word fixed, we're stuck in our ways and we don't look for solutions. We're always looking at the problem. Like today with this virus, and I'm not downplaying it, it is a serious matter. We have to take precautions. There's a lot of uncertainty. So when you're faced with uncertainty in your career, how are you going to shift your mindset to say, okay, what can I do differently? How can I look for possibilities? So now what is happening with everybody? They're going virtual. Everybody who was doing live events, live networking, live workshops are now doing a lot of virtual. And some people are not adapting to the change in technology. So my question is to all of you, are you adapting to the change, or are you resisting the change? Okay, because you have to, and you don't have to do anything. I invite you to look for the opportunities, to be adaptable, to be flexible, to believe in yourself, really, instead of being critical or just saying you can't do it. Well, what would it look like if you were doing it? How would your life change? How would your family change? You know, when I was in a corporate job unhappy, it affected my family. It affected my marriage because I was unhappy coming home, complaining of where I was in my life. But we all have a decision and a choice. We are 100% responsible for our life. So how are you deciding today to intentionally create your new life? Okay. So I ask all of the listeners today, are you intentionally creating your life, or are you just going with the flow? Okay. It really is important to, so I tapped into coaches. I highly recommend finding the right coach that can help you. It's not any coach. Every coach has a specialty. I specialize in career. You know, I call myself a career change agent. And what I'm doing is I'm changing people's careers. I'm changing their life. I'm changing. And that even if women want to stay in a corporate job, they can. But are you loving what you do? I help you with that. I help you to get that clarity. I help you with your resume, with your interviewing, your job search strategies around your career. So it's all around your career, whether you want to stay in that job, that corporate setting, I should say, or entrepreneurship.
I love that. So I even love the whole thing about a career change agent. You know, so many coaches, we have different coaches for different things. And like you said, with different specialties. And I love how the different terms for a coach come about, because it enhances that growth mindset. You know, it's focused and clear and specific, and it helps with people knowing exactly what it is that they do. So
Exactly.
Excellent. Now, so when you say they have to have the right coach, what is some criteria that they should be looking for to make sure that they are contacting?
So I would definitely check references for a coach. You know, who have they worked with? Get some names of people they work. I would contact those people to get a sense. Look online, their social media platforms. Are they showing up? Are they active as a coach, or are they just calling themselves a coach? How are they showing up? What is their messaging? You know, are they consistently online or in person showing up? I would definitely really check into their references, their clients that they worked with. Because had I done that myself, that's something that I've learned, I would not have used coaches that didn't serve me well, didn't steer me in the direction, because a lot of coaches are interested maybe in what they push you in a way that's to their agenda. You want to work with a coach that is working for you. What is it that you want? They're coaching you. At the end of the day, we are the ones that are going to take action. We're the ones that are going to be applying the tools that they recommend, but they're not going to do the work for us. So when you're looking for a coach, don't expect the coach to do the work for you. That's not what they're there for. They're there to coach you, to direct you, to give you accountability, ideas, solutions, suggestions, homework that you need to do. And are you engaging in that? Are you applying what they teach you? Or are you just not and spending money foolishly?
I love that. I love that. All those things that you're mentioning, because you have the people that are like, oh, man, if I could just get with Gary V or
Hmm.
Grant
Hmm.
Cardone, then I could just really be successful. So I love the fact that you
Exactly.
have to do the work, and just that mindset. There is no person that could do the work that
Exactly.
you
There
have
is
to
no
do for
magic
yourself.
bullet. It's not going to
Yeah,
happen
that's
overnight.
correct.
It's really
Mhm.
trusting the process,
Mhm.
embracing the process. Be
Mhm.
patient with yourself is one
Mhm.
of the things that I want to say, that it's not going to
Mhm.
happen overnight. And, how bad do you want it?
Mhm.
And this is the thing that goes back to your why. How bad do you want something? And why are you
Mhm.
doing what you're doing? That even with obstacles, because as an entrepreneur, life in general, there's obstacles, there's distractions, there's bumps in the road. And when you exit the
Mhm.
corporate, that's one of the things. Are you ready to leave corporate to go into entrepreneurship? You got to be ready. The timing's got to be right. Okay. Because that's what I recommend,
Mhm.
is really, creating a plan, sticking to the plan, having others to help you along the way with the plan. But like for me, I set up a financial plan, emergency fund, not only working with coaches, but really getting
Mhm.
clients while I was working full time is very important. Starting your business and really
Mhm.
being out there while you're working full time. So you have that paycheck
Mhm.
and you're working your business part time. So that is something that I did for a
Mhm.
while, until how long can I keep doing this? Is the question. And
Mhm.
so you have to be
Mhm.
ready. You have to,
Mhm.
at the right time. Everything happens for a reason. The timing is so important. If I had quit sooner, it might not have been the right time, before 2018.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I highly recommend that
Mhm.
you really don't just jump, but have a plan and work with people to help you,
Mhm.
and really having that mindset that you can do it, and believe it, really believing in yourself.
Mhm. I love that. Now, so what are some things that you do in your daily routine to kind of keep up with this growth mindset? Because I know, like right now, we have a pandemic, and there's a lot of negativity on social media. I mean, it is a negative thing, don't get me wrong, to where it can affect people, their families, and, we are in a crisis to try to minimize the spread of this virus. But, you know, that being said, what do you do on a regular basis to kind of stay in that positivity with that growth mindset and looking beyond
So
the
one of the things
present
is I
of where
limit
we're
my
at now?
TV time. I read a lot of self-help. I'm
Mhm.
a book junkie. I'm always reading something, and I
Mhm.
will pray every day.
Mhm.
I say affirmations
Mhm.
every day. I say
Mhm.
positive words to
Mhm.
myself all the time.
Mhm.
Meditate is something
Mhm.
that I need to be more consistent with myself. It is a work in progress. However, but I do a lot of reading. I do a lot
Mhm.
of watching positive YouTubes, always looking to see what someone else is saying. What can I apply? Any nugget that I
Mhm.
can apply in my life. I really stay away from negative people. They always say, be aware of the five people you hang
Mhm.
out with. Who are you hanging out with?
Mhm.
Who are you communicating with? Are you
Mhm.
associating with people that are bringing you down, or are you associating with people that are lifting you up? Is very important. So those are some of the things
Mhm.
that I
Mhm.
do every day. And you're going to have the people that are going to give you that poo-pooing your dream, and say, well, it's only a dream. You need to be real. You need to have reality here. It's not going to happen. And well, you know what? Those are the naysayers.
Mhm.
So you want to limit your time with those naysayers. And some of those
Mhm.
naysayers could be your family. Okay. And you want to, if it's your
Mhm. Mhm.
spouse or
Mhm.
boyfriend, girlfriend, you got a problem here. Okay. So what do? Right? You just like divorce them, or you end the relationship. You can always do that so easily, right? So it's really it's internal. Like, what can you do differently? Okay. Every day to do that,
Mhm.
because it can be challenging at times. It can be.
Mhm.
It can be, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so what are some books that you would recommend? Because we got
Yes,
a
we
lot of
do.
time
So
on our
one of
hands.
the books that has really helped me
Mhm.
is Jack Canfield is someone that I follow. I've seen him in person. He has a book called Success
Mhm.
Principles.
Mhm.
I also
Mhm.
I just bought a book by Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Really, because a lot of things we do are
Mm.
subconscious. We just can't, you know, they're subconscious
Right.
that we just do by habit, and we're conditioned. Our
Mhm.
upbringing, you know, really plays a big part
Mhm.
in how we are, you know, who we are. Those
Mhm.
are a couple of books.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's, of course, Carol Dweck book that I just mentioned, The New Psychology of Success.
Mhm.
I'm reading a book now called The Untethered Soul. Very good book.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, there's
Someone
a
told
chapter
me
right
about
now
that. I
on
haven't
death. I
read
mean,
it
it's
yet.
like really like, okay. And I'm reading the chapter on death. And so like, okay, this is not a good time to reading this with
Mhm.
the virus. But what it's teaching you is that if we knew that we were going to die tomorrow or next week, how would you live life
Mhm.
today? That's really what
Right.
it's saying. That's the message I'm getting. The message also that instead of
Mhm.
resisting, accept it, embrace, move on. You
Mm.
know, this virus
Mhm.
is reality right now. It
Mhm.
will pass.
Mhm.
But during this season, how are
Mhm.
we changing? How are we adapting? What are we doing to make changes? I believe there's a spiritual reason for this happening right now. That's my belief. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry that people
Mhm.
are dying
Mhm.
from this. And it's sad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying it.
Mhm.
It is a serious thing. But it's
Mhm.
also what I'm seeing is it's changing the way
Mhm.
we do business. It's changing the way we are with our family. Like I
Mhm.
know probably we want to kill ourselves
Mhm.
with our kids home. Now we're homeschooling, you know, and it's changed. And parents are like, oh my
Right.
God, what do I do? Now I have to homeschool. So how are you doing?
Mhm.
Maybe, you know, shifting your mindset. I'm spending more time with my family. We're actually sitting down and having dinner together,
Mhm.
you know, and so it's changing the way
Mhm.
we are
Mhm.
communicating. It's changing our relationships. It's strengthening our relationships with people.
Mhm.
It's my belief. I don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. I want this to
Mhm.
pass. I want it to go away. I want to get back to not being afraid to
Right.
go to a grocery store. I don't live my life in fear. I'm still going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
you know, exercising precautions. I'm using the hand sanitizer. I got
Mhm.
gloves. I got the mask. But I believe that if
Mhm.
something is meant to happen,
Mhm.
it's going to happen regardless. Just like passing
Mhm.
away. If you're
Mhm.
meant to die,
So
you're
true.
going to die. Okay. And I don't want to leave it on a morbid note here.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
looking, what are you going to do differently today? How are you making changes? You know, life is too short. So for those of
Right.
you that are looking for a career
Mhm.
change, you know, let's step it up now. What's holding you back? What's
Right.
preventing you? And if it's fear, it's face it and
Mhm.
rise. Okay, just face it
Mm.
and
I
go
love
through the
that.
fear.
Mhm.
You know, if you don't have
Mhm.
fear, you're not going to grow.
Mhm.
You know, growth does come from having that fear.
Mhm.
You know, I wouldn't have left my corporate job if I didn't have fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of success, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure that we all have are so in our mindset a lot of
Mhm.
times. But if we shift our mindset, say, you know what? I will do this. I can do this. I don't know how I'm going to. One of the things that I'm starting to say every day is
Mhm.
I'm allowing the flow of money to come to me. And it's something that someone shared with
Wow.
me the other
Okay.
day. And I'm allowing the money to flow instead of saying, oh, I'm not going to get clients now. They can't pay. They're
Mhm.
not spending money. I'm allowing it to come
Mhm.
in. The money is
Mhm.
here. It's coming into my space. I don't
Mhm.
know how, but I will do my part in
Mhm.
attracting the right people. Not not
Mhm.
everyone. but the right people.
I love that.
The movers and the shakers.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's what I'm looking for.
All right. That's true. Well, and I love what this is showing is that you have to be intentional about
Exactly.
the things that you create in your environment. If it's what you think, what you say, what you read, all these things, you can manifest what you desire
Right.
if you begin to do the
Right.
work
Doing the work,
to create
keyword.
this
People think,
environment for
that
you.
it's going to come to you by
Mhm.
sitting on the couch.
Mhm.
It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
Mm-mm.
You got to show up. You got
Mhm.
to do the work. You got to be
Right.
present. You got to be consistent. Like you are all
Mhm.
the time. You're on videos. My goal is also every day,
Mhm.
I'm doing an alphabet challenge, and every day I'm showing up and I'm engaging with people. That's
Mhm.
showing up.
Mhm.
People need to see us. People need to
Mhm.
see we all
Mhm.
have unique
I
talents and
love that.
abilities, and to share to the world. We need to tap
Mhm.
into our zone of brilliance.
Mhm. I love that. Now, for somebody who, this would be the last question, but for those who are concerned about, well, I did a video, 2 people watched, or I got, 7 views, what would you say to that person? Because right now, it's a lot of people doing a lot of different things to keep
Well,
them
good work,
encouraged
because
to
I've
continue
done
to show
videos
up.
where no
What would
one
you say?
shows up. Okay. All right. And you sit there waiting for people to show up and no one's there. Okay. So you're talking to yourself. Here's the thing, it's going to happen. Expect it, but continue to show up
Mhm.
consistently. People are
Mhm.
watching you when you don't think they are.
Mhm.
Okay. So I recommend everyone keep doing
Mhm.
what you're doing. You
Mhm.
might have to tweak your message. Maybe your messaging is not attracting the right
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
Okay. So I've had to tweak my messaging to
Mhm.
attract the right
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
I'm working on that right now. I'm targeting the 9 to 5 corporate women that want to escape, and I'm going to go and find them. Where are they hanging out so that I can help them in this
Mhm.
transition when they're laid
Mhm.
off, when they're looking to go back to work, reinvent
Mhm.
themselves, they want to shift
Mhm.
totally in their careers. That's something that I've been working on more. I've been more intentional with, because that's who I was. I was a corporate. I left and I became an entrepreneur. I would love everyone to escape their 9 to 5 and become an entrepreneur. However, it's not for everybody. Okay, it really isn't. And so, my
Mhm.
advice is just keep showing up. The right people are going to come. You're communicating, engage with your people, connect, collaborate, like what we're doing. Whatever social media platform
Mhm.
you're using, connect with the people. Don't just go live. Like, for example, I did a poll in my Facebook group. I asked a question. There's someone that answered a question. That is my
Mhm.
ideal audience. I'm going to connect with her. I'm going to have a one-on-one with her. She's right
Mhm.
now in the journey of where
Mhm.
I can help her.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's, just keep showing up,
Mhm.
and you're going to be making changes. It's an evolution. You're always going to be making changes throughout your journey.
Mhm.
Okay. But believe in yourself. What is it that you have to offer? Is it
Mhm.
valuable? And you have to believe in it yourself. Okay. And if you don't believe it,
Mhm.
others won't believe in you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Being authentic, being authentic.
I love that. Very good. Mhm. I love that. Well, you have given us quite a plethora of wisdom, and I appreciate your time. What's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? Because many of these women that may be displaced right now, I'm sure would love to, have a conversation with
Awesome.
you to
So
kind
my
of get
website
some
is
more insight on what they can do next.
www.lifeisideal.com. And you can get my free offer, which is 7-step
Mhm.
blueprint to achieve freedom. And my email is
Mhm.
tkadishcoach@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. I have a Life is Ideal business page
Mhm.
as well. And so those are the three ways. I'm on LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
as well to connect. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. All right. Well, we just want to thank you again, Tina, for coming on, sharing your words of wisdom,
Well,
and
thank you,
look
Michelle. One
forward
thing I
to
do want to mention to
collaborating
my
with you
listeners is I
again
do offer
in
a
the near
30-minute
future.
complimentary clarity session to learn about you. So anyone who wants to just schedule a 30-minute
Awesome.
with me and learn about you and how can I support you, or I can direct you to someone else who can support you. Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that generous offer, and so glad you could join me
Thank you,
again.
Michelle. Thank you so
And
much for
I
hosting
will
this
be
today.
in touch soon. Okay.
You too. Bye bye.
What a great interview. I enjoyed the whole concept of, do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? That's something that we can ponder as we deal with this pandemic that is facing the whole world. How are we going to move forward? We have choices, and it's up to us to make the decision based on the life that we want to have. So good, so good. So I really want to thank Tina for reminding us of the power that we do have, even though we feel powerless, and how we can make a great decision in the midst of chaos, and that's taking the time to get clear on what we want and what we want to build and what is our why and our purpose and talents and things that we want to utilize in order to move forward and to stay healthy with a healthy mindset. So we want to thank her for her insight. If you are interested in being a guest, please email me at info@lachelleatkins.com. You can also send me a message through Facebook Messenger. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and I also have a YouTube channel. So I want to thank you guys for listening today, and I encourage you to share this podcast with others. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you feel the information is important, it will help somebody else get out of maybe the mindset that they're in that's not serving them anymore. So think about the things that you aspire to do. What are some of your gifts and talents? Because as we come together in a dialogue, we are able to move the needle forward just a little bit more each day. So I would love to have you as a guest to share your little piece of reality because all of us collectively working together, we can do a lot of good and we can definitely begin the process to repair and heal from what it is we're faced with today. I want to thank you guys for listening.